Hi, Dr. Regan Robertson, CCO of Productive Dentist Academy here, and I have a question for you. Are you finding it hard to get your team aligned to your vision, but you know you deserve growth just like everybody else? That's why we've created the PDA Productivity Workshop. For nearly 20 years, PDA workshops have helped dentists just like you align their teams, get control of scheduling, and create productive practices that they love walking into every day. Just imagine how you will feel when you know your schedule is productive, your systems are humming, and your team is aligned to your vision. It's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. We can help. Visit productivedentist.com/workshop. That's productivedentist.com/workshop to secure your seats now.
Botox isn't rocket science, but especially once you're comfortable with knowing that you know where you're placing it, and stuff like that. It's the same thing with anesthetic. It's hard and it's easy, right? It's not rocket science. It's like, okay, but we wouldn't let anyone do it. But once you know how to do it and you know how, like, where you're placing it and stuff like that, after, let's say, 5 years of dentistry and stuff like that, it's like, it's a breeze.
Welcome to the Everyday Practices Podcast. I'm Regan Robertson, and my co-host, Dr. Chad Johnson, and I are on a mission to share the stories of everyday dentists who generate extraordinary results using practical, proven methods you can take right into your own dental practice. If you're ready to elevate patient care and produce results that are anything but ordinary, buckle up and listen in.
Welcome to Everyday Practices. I am your host, Regan Robertson, here with the delectable, the delightful, slightly dubious or devious. No, not at all. He's fantastic. Dr. Chad Johnson. Hello, Chad.
Well, hello. Thank you. How are you doing today?
I'm hanging in there today. I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, you have some stuff going on, but
Yeah. I've got some life going on right now, which is, what, we all have life going on, but usually I'm super excited.
Yeah.
And I'm always upbeat, and I'm still upbeat, but life is kind of, a sunnier day will come around. I'll say that.
Yep.
Part of my reason though for sunniness is I'm here with you, and it's December. Happy December 1st to you.
Yes, you get a December and you get a December. That's my allusion to what we're going to be talking about today. My favorite things.
Yes, I thought it would be the best. Don't you think it would be the best to share Chad's favorite dental things? Dental things. One of the compliments I hear about you often, Chad, from colleagues around is your delightful personality. And what's even more powerful than that is your clinical proficiency. And so I thought, let's talk about all of the services and things that you love, all of Christmas favorite things style. So
why not?
Yeah. Up first, on the first day of Christmas, Chad Johnson gave to me.
So my first on the list isn't new, but a 3D printer. I have a Formlabs brand, Form 3, and my first one is a 3D printer. Why? I love getting surgical guides printed out. I love getting wax ups that are digitally mocked up, printed out, and being able to use those as templates, even for composites sometimes. One of my favorite composites for anterior aesthetics, which will be my second one, is we just have to jump into it Omega, Estelite Omega. And it's a lot of people use the Estelite composites, but the Estelite Omega is done by Newton Fall out of Brazil. He is a University of Iowa graduate degree through the operative department. And so you've maybe in the AACD heard of Newton Fall. He's one of my idols, great guy. And he helped develop through Tokayama Company, the Estelite Omega anterior composites, which is achromatic in that it doesn't, it kind of blends with the colors. You've heard this before, but this one really is. It has an A1, a B1, an A2, an A3, a translucent, and a couple bleach shades, but they have dentinal shades and enamel shades. Of course, not with the translucent and some of the bleach stuff, but there's let's say dentinal A1 and enamel A1. So you get it put in a dentinal layer where there's dentin, and then an enamel layer where there's enamel, and that helps set the tone for the color I absolutely love my Estelite Omega for anterior composites. Boom. First one, second one.
So the lay person, completely undentally educated, is
Oh
that,
yeah, no, they'll have no idea.
Is that what gives that? Well, I'm asking for my own. Is that
Yes,
what gives
exactly.
that depth to it and the sheen to it? Like I just saw some before and afters of Dr. Wade Kiefer's
Yes.
rehabs that he did. Oh my gosh. And I could not tell. I mean, they looked so real. And
Yeah.
Victoria Peterson, she was talking about the luminous. It was luminous. It was this. It was that. And I was like,
Sure.
I don't know what this means, other than it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the most exquisite art. So is that does that contribute to that?
It contributes to it. There are a few things, even polish is going to matter. What you put internal. So like you can have tinters and opacers that you put into there. So opacity and translucency, that matters. There's hue, value, and chroma are the three things that make up, the thing to, which I knew you'd really like. But yeah, so hue is the intensity of the color. And one way to explain it is if you had some Kool-Aid that was red and you added in water and you diluted it and it's still that same red, but it's more dilute.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you had a concentrate, so like whether it's a concentrated red or a diluted red, it's actually the same red, but that has to do with the hue of it. The value is the white to black, on the scale with kind of grayish in the middle. So you can have the same color, but if you add more white to it, it's technically the same color. If you had blue paint and you added white, it's still blue.
Right.
And when we define them as different colors, but it's actually the same color, they put in the same amount of blue, they just added more white. And this is what's interesting about painting and everything like that is you can, get used to, color mixing and stuff like that. For example, in dental school, when I got into painting just for fun to, experience mixing colors, I was shocked on when I started to paint grass, how yellow grass is. You can't just take green. You can't take forest green and just put a little yellow in. It's actually a ton of yellow with a dot of green. And so like grass is really yellow, but you wouldn't know that because it looks green to us and we call it green. So there's hue, value, and then chroma. And I think I got the chroma mixed up. The hue is the color, the chroma is the intensity of it, like Kool-Aid, and then the value is the black to white, like adding white in.
Shade or tint, the shade or the tint.
Yeah. So there's different stuff, but so dentin is of your natural tooth has less translucency. And so if you design the whole filling to be one blob of one translucency, then it's not mimicking nature. And so you have to put dentin where dentin is and then enamel where enamel is, and that helps create it. Then you can put other stuff in there, to whether it's on the surface or inside to make it look like that. All those things coalesce to become what makes it fake to look like a tooth.
Since you get to control this, do you practice? Like, do you practice on the weekends? How do you
Well, you do practice, but occasionally, rarely.
Yeah.
So like, I suppose the practice of dentistry also implies that while we're doing each case, we're practicing.
Of course.
But when we go to conferences that are hands-on, like AACD, which I love.
Yeah.
Then they have hands-on componentry to it.
Are you going to AACD in 2024?
I have it on my calendar. It's in DC.
We will be there.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Well, then maybe I'm going to all the more. Then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, it's in the harbor, in National Harbor, across the river in DC area, and I've got it marked off in April ish or whatever to go to it. So it's on my radar.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep us moving forward here.
Yes,
so we got a 3D printer, which you already have a 3D printer. You just want a different 3D printer?
No, these are my favorite things to recommend that people get.
Perfect. Okay.
Yep. So this isn't my wish list. This is
your favorite
things. Yep.
3D printer, and then number 2 was
Estelite Omega Composite.
Thank you.
By Tokiyama.
Tokiyama.
Yes.
Number 3.
Which I really want to visit their factory in Japan. So number 3, yeah, right. Number 3.
You would. Oh, this is bringing the nerdiness that I hoped and wanted.
So here we go. Number 3, Botox. Duh. People have heard this around for 20 years. But if you're not doing it, go to a course like AAFE, American Academy of Facial Aesthetics. And they have a lot of online coursework that you have to do before you do the hands-on componentry. But it's so good talking about the anatomy, talking about mixing it. And Botox isn't rocket science, but especially once you're comfortable with knowing that you know where you're placing it, and stuff like that. It's the same thing with anesthetic. It's hard and it's easy, right? It's not rocket science. It's like, okay, but we wouldn't let anyone do it. But once you know how to do it and you know how, like, where you're placing it and stuff like that, after, let's say, 5 years of dentistry and stuff like that, it's like, it's a breeze. So Botox, go get a Botox course done. So that way you can help patients in 2 regards. Number 1, with facial pain, and then also with aesthetics. So there you go.
Okay.
Botox.
Number 4.
PRP facials and PRP dermal filler injections. So that kind of stuff. I've done Dr. Garg's coursework for that. And so there are, different courses out there that are, trying to get dentists exposed to placing dermal fillers, but you can use PRP instead of Juvederm for your dermal fillers. And then you can also use the PRP liquid form to basically topically apply it to the skin and then do microdermabrasion with a roller and embed those that liquid PRP or PRF, depending on how you want to verbalize it. But for all due purposes, they're the same thing. People say that they're different when the truth is they're not that much different, unless the person really, really demands that they're different, but they're the same. So
I want to dive all the way into PRP and the benefits and how you've applied it.
Yep.
And how long did it take you to bring that into the practice?
So I did a 1-day, phlebotomy course.
Okay.
And then I did a 2-day PRP dermal filler course. And then the dermal fillers were also taught at the AAFE. And you can do more than one course through the AAFE as well, regarding facial aesthetics altogether. So they're not just about Botox. So those two kind of went hand in hand, PRP as I use them, and then Botox, both taught at AAFE, both taught at, Garg's courses down in Miami. And he has courses. He has home courses and away courses, right? So like he does Boston, he does Chicago, he does Dallas. Basically, I've heard him say, if it's a direct flight, I'll go. So
that is always my role. I love that. The direct flight. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Number 5.
Number 5, Zima Dental has little dental pods. And so I wear an oral appliance for sleep apnea. And
I thought you were going to say for aesthetics, like a grill, like Post Malone.
Yeah, no, you can't make this look more pretty with I'm just, so they have a little, it showed up on Facebook, these little pods that, are a little ultrasonic bath that shakes out your germs. Yeah. From your
appliance. Oh, it's like a jewelry cleaner.
Yes,
like an ultrasonic jewelry cleaner.
Exactly. Yeah. But for $100, I was like, I'm going to buy this and check this out. This one might be my favorite one to share with the audience. But Zima Dental, $100 for a little pod. And I was like, I'll give it a try. I'm telling all my patients about it now because I'm like, that's really a good value. You can choose a few different colors as if that matters, but they're a nice, attractive little pod, and you can fit in your Invisalign retainers into it. You can fit in your, or oral appliance, your night guard, anything like that into there to clean.
Oh, that is so good. Yeah. Yep. You're taking me back to the days of retainer when I was, and trying to like brush it out.
Yes. I don't. Yeah.
I would be so happy to just chuck in a little ultrasonic.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I know. And I want people to know, if they see this pop up on Facebook and they're like, oh, that's probably a piece of junk. It's actually, I'm in love with mine. No, I'm in love with mine. For $100, I was just like, I've had it for a year. It hasn't petered out yet. And so I don't know if it'll last 1.1 years. And then I'll wish that I would have let you all know. But as of right now, it's good. My next one goes into naturally Great Lakes Orthodontics Solutions and stuff like that. I email through the CIREC portal my facial files, STL files for oral appliance for sleep apnea. So I wear one myself. I have mild sleep apnea.
Yeah.
I wear a Herbst appliance, and I've tried a couple different ones. There's one that's like a football mouth guard, and the dog found it on the nightstand, got like 4 or 5 minutes with it, and then I chewed through the rest of it, and so that one wasn't good. But they're what's it called? Polycarbonate? I don't know if that's the right word for it. The polycarbonate plastic one is a good one. And then I also have one that's like a clear acrylic one. So I like the clear acrylic one. You can also, when you're doing the CIREC STL files through CIREC, you can record the bite. So I put in a cotton roll and get the bite just right. Or you can use what's that appliance called? I wish I could edit it in later, where you push the mandible forward and you record it at the 70%. However George gauge, however you want to record that, for the bite, but you record the bite in that position and send it off, and they can make it at that vertical dimension and horizontal protrusive dimension. That was a bunch of nerdiness. Sorry, that was for the.
I don't know what any of that. I don't know. That was all Greek to me completely. Yeah. So I'm assuming people listening are all, oh yeah, yeah,
sorry.
You completely lost me on that one entirely. However, it was really fun to go down, seeing how I just in September went to Meghna Dasani's Airway Summit course and spoke at that, and became extremely passionate because people just don't understand how many different appliances there are. So if one doesn't work for you, you can try a different one. You don't have to give up. You don't have to suffer with it. So I love that is your number 6. Number 7.
If I had more time, I probably could come up with at least 5 more around the office, but I haven't exactly, finished that. But I think I could come up with, for 5 more, episode 2 of this. Okay. But number 7 for now, my Zana toothbrush, Sean Zayas from Zana. I've met him at the PDA workshops originally, and we started implementing that into our office. I love the whole system. I love the brush itself. I was a huge Sonicare fan, so no knock on Sonicare. I love the Sonicare brand and the product. So I thought I'll give Zana a try. And sure enough, I've loved it. And
you do?
Yes. And it holds its charge longer than Sonicare.
Really?
Oh yeah. Which allows me to be lazier.
So, well, my favorite admission to this is I bought an electric toothbrush and promptly didn't use it for like a year. Zana, Sean gave me one, and I'm still using that. So now I have 2. So I have a Zana and I have an Oral-B. And so I use them both, but I'll tell you what, that Zana has been with me for a few years now. It's not lost its charge. I mean, I know I have it on its little dock a lot and stuff, but when I have it off the dock, or if I'm traveling and I've forgotten the charge, it holds it for a long time.
I don't know if it holds it for a month-ish. I don't keep track, but I think it's about a month-ish. Sean would be on here right now going, no, Chad, say 3 months. I don't know how long it is, but however long it is, it's not a week. Let's just say that much. So for what it's worth, it goes longer than a week for sure.
Well, Chad, thank you for sharing your stocking stuffer ideas for the dentist you love.
Yes.
Yes.
Enjoy, everyone.
Next week, we will dive into more favorite things between Chad Johnson and myself.
Yes, I like it. All right, Regan, we'll talk soon. Thanks for listeners. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Everyday Practices Podcast. Chad and I are here every week thanks to our community of listeners just like you, and we'd love your help. It would mean the world if you can help spread the word by sharing this episode with a fellow dentist and leave us a review on iTunes or Spotify. Do you have an extraordinary story you'd like to share, or feedback on how we can make this podcast even more awesome? Drop us an email at podcast@productivedentist.com. And don't forget to check out our other podcasts from Productive Dentist Academy at productivedentist.com/podcasts. See you next week.